I am ready for success. I am success. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Extra Connections, where we connect you with people, places, things, and ideas. I am your host, James Law Jr., and this morning I have a really good guest for you, somebody who I've admired for a while, and I'm so glad to have him on my show. He is a doctor, a clinical instructor, transformation coach, motivational speaker. He was Black Enterprise's Modern Man. He's on the Live Longer book tour, and his book is called The Courage to Continue, and he actually has his own story to share that relates to living well and listening to your body. I'm so happy to have him on the show, Dr. Ivan Hernandez. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show, James.
It's an honor. No, seriously, I know we're trying to get this together for a little bit, but it is an honor to have you on my show because you're doing really great work. And I want to actually dedicate my show to my brother Max, who died a year ago this week, who was 47, worked out every day, ate really well, and died of a heart attack.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
That's a common truth.
Exactly. So we're going to talk because we're about your story. So we're going to talk about that because that's something that shocked us. And I mean, he was in way better health than I was, but he did have a lot of stress in his life. So we're going to get into that. So Dr. Hernandez, first of all, like when I posted pictures of you like on my social media that I'm going to have you on my show, people were like, "Oh my God!" And I kind of told a little bit of your story. Or I posted links like. This guy had a health issue. Like, I mean, if people look at you and go, God, he's so good looking, he has a great body, he looks like he's in shape. And people don't realize that, and you talk about this, that you have your own story of kind of this and this kind of, so kind of share a little bit about what your story is.
Well, my story starts back, I would say, as far as 20 plus years ago. My mindset was always one where I equated physical fitness with optimal wellness. And in retrospect, I could say that I was partially correct. Physical fitness has a lot to do with optimal wellness. Not only being free of disease, but living well, having robust energy, being resilient, being spiritually and mentally strong. But what I realized is that physical fitness is just really one cog in the wheel, that there's so many other elements. And this is why I chose to write my book, Courage to Continue, because what I realized is that there are many other elements that encompass what optimal wellness is, and it's not just physical fitness. 3 years ago, I was dealing with a great deal of stress. Within a 6-month period, I had learned that my high school sweetheart, wife of 10 plus years, had an affair and had a child out of that affair. And on top of that, my company was massively sued. And this is all within a 6-month period. So to tell you the level of stress, depression that I had would really be a disservice to your listeners, because the acuity of the pain was simply indescribable. It was frankly, at the time, it felt insurmountable. I distinctly recall many nights of not sleeping well, of stressing, of ruminating. I was in acute bout of depression, and the truth is that depression is more prevalent than what most of us realize. By 2020, depression is going to be the second leading cause of medical disability. And so we need to realize the impact of the mind and the body. And this is what I realized after my event, after my heart attack, is that while I was physically fit, I wasn't mentally and spiritually fit. And that's what led to my experience to nearly perishing, to my demise. And so in my book, I describe 5 pillars of wellness. Certainly physical fitness and nutrition are of those 5 pillars, but I also include the importance of sleeping more. When you're stressed, you're ruminating, you're thinking, you're staying up late at night, and that affects you in so many ways, in so many biochemical ways, including putting you at higher risk for chronic illnesses, including having heart disease and stroke. So I talk about sleep. I talk about stressing less. Stress is a primal defense mechanism. It's a survival mechanism that we're equipped with in the face of danger. If a car were to be heading my way, I would quickly flee to save my life. But the thing is, when this stress response, this fight or flight response, is continually and perpetually activated, it is then that it starts to wreak havoc on our body. All of these hormones, the cortisol, the adrenaline, epinephrine, all these things start breaking down our body because our body wasn't designed to be in constant fight or flight and constant stress. So, a big part of what I write, and when I'm addressing stressing less, is managing it. Managing it not only when you encounter it, but doing it preemptively. Taking your deep breaths in the morning before the harsh realities of life and work and being a mom and dad start to hit your day. So just take deep breaths. Meditate, do yoga, whatever advice works for you, do it. We're a society where, especially in America, where we're always on the go. We have a very a high-powered engine. We're always on the go, and we don't do enough down-regulation. We don't have a lot of down-regulation behaviors or activities, behaviors that allow us to calm down. And, a lot of us, especially in America, we tend to think of it as, we're being lazy or we're pampering ourselves. But you really need that. You really need a massage. You really need taking deep breaths, a nice bath. You really need calmness in your life, because if that high level of energy is not met with equal and opposite down regulation activities, it's just a matter of your time where your body will succumb to the elevated stress hormones. And that's when you break down. And that's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. The stress, I succumbed to the stress. And, here you have a guy who is a walking billboard of health, who is epitomizing health and wellness, and with no family history, with a blood chemistry that is remarkably normal, and yet he still gets a heart attack and nearly dies. So, it really gave me a deeper understanding, not from a clinical end, but from a personal end. I realized that there's much more to health than just this, than just physical fitness. And then the last one, that last pillar, is thinking big. So it's nutrition, it's, eat better, move more, sleep better, think big and stress less. And think big is really a pillar that I created to help people when they're embarking on something new, on some type of transformative process. If you want to be a better husband or wife, if you want to be a better employee or employer, if you want to transform your body, whatever it is, whatever endeavor it is that we want to embark upon, it's important to understand that at first we have to make a sacrifice. It's easy to want things, but we have to make a sacrifice. And in order to make that sacrifice, we need to think big. And thinking big really means we need to be positive and know that when we embark upon this new endeavor, that it's going to come with some level of stress. And that's important. That stress response is something that we don't want to avoid altogether. Stress raises our alertness. It makes us astute. So we need some level of stress when we're embarking upon something. We need to know that we're going to face some type of resistance in whatever transformative process that we're embarking upon. But it's just a matter of time with resilience that whatever we're doing, our body will start to adapt. Our mind will start to adapt. And you get to a point where you're, what many people are calling it now, the flow state of mind. Or many people know it as being in the zone, where you thoroughly are immersed in the activity. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying every nit and gritty part of the activity that you're partaking in. I've come to the point in my life where I can't go more than 2 days without exercising because I thoroughly enjoy it. I can't go a day without eating a salad because my mind is programmed to do that. So I just live a life of wellness. And at first, for most people, and it doesn't have to just be wellness, it could be anything. For most people, there's going to be a challenge early on. But if you stick with it and if you stay positive, I'm confident, and I write about this, about the book, about the plasticity of the human body, of the human mind, of our neurological system. We're highly adaptable to many, many different environments. And so we could adapt if we could adapt to cold climates and very warm climates and high altitudes and low sea levels, we could adapt to any form of stress. So as long as we anticipate what's going to happen, to have some level of anticipation of the stress that we're going to encounter, and then stick with it and move forward. And that's a big thing, because in order for me, at least, to have come out of what I came out of, this rut, this mental rut that I was in, I had to remain positive. And it really was a function, ultimately, it was a function of me utilizing these pillars, of remaining positive, of getting more sleep by manipulating my habits around, in the evening time, at the nighttime, about eating well, about exercising. I think that the human body is composed of so many chemicals, and if we have the ability to manipulate these chemicals, both our external environment and our internal environment, we could optimize our health within our control. But it's really a matter of manipulating these chemicals by changing our environment. It's amazing how if you sleep, what happens? You have reduced cortisol levels. You have improved pain thresholds. You have increased mental acuity. You have improved hunger hormone response. So there's less ghrelin, more leptin. You have all of these things happening just from sleep alone. So our behaviors and the way we manipulate our environment can dictate our internal chemistry. And so that's what these pillars are about, because it's not, we think that it's about free will. And while their will and discipline are important, they go but so far. We need to manipulate our body, our environment, in order that we can extend that will, we can extend that willpower. Did you know that, for example, if you have adequate sleep, you're less likely to reach for the cabinet and get those cookies that are there? Or if you have adequate sleep, you're more likely to want to go out and exercise. If you go out and get some sun in the morning, you're more likely to reset your biological clock so that come evening time, you're naturally feeling tired and wanting to go to bed. So these pillars reflect both the application of science and art.
Yes, I want to say that basically you said a lot of stuff that I wanted to kind of address a little bit. One, thank you for sharing your personal story in a book. You talk about it. I know it's not always easy to be vulnerable and kind of share your hurts. Talk about depression. I think it's great that you're talking about depression because that's a stigma. We need to drop that. There's no shame in it. We should let that go. I think people have depression. Things happen in life that affect your body. And I like that you're also trying to show us how to listen to our bodies and also be proactive so that we don't get to the points of no return. I had a mini stroke 3 years ago because I was super stressed out, and I was 45 years old. And after that happened, it totally changed my life. And I do yoga, and I totally just my thoughts on everything because it really is mindset. And I love that you say sleep because I'm in Hollywood, and it's this weird thing in Hollywood that it's like I only get 4 hours of sleep. I only get 3 hours of sleep. I only need to there's like pride in not getting enough sleep. And I'm like, I get 7 8 hours. I love to sleep, and I feel like just personally I feel like a better person when James can sleep. I'm better for you when James can sleep.
Yeah.
And people this kind of this thing of like I actually wrote a blog post that was very popular a few years ago about why you should sleep. Just basic sleep. People are like, I don't need it. I'm busy. Like somehow, if you sleep too much, or in their eyes sleep too much, you're not hustling enough, or you're not working hard enough.
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah, you're right.
no, that's not the truth. That's not the truth at all. And so I just love that your 5 pillars encompass. Some of it can be called a holistic approach, body conscious approach, mixed with, like you said, there exercise, of course, diet, of course, that stuff. I said my brother did all that stuff, but he was stressed out, and I don't think he did anything to handle that stress. I don't think he does. I just don't think he did. And he was angry about a lot of things, and he was kind of working on a bunch of stuff, which we have in life. And I think that led to his demise because I'm in less good shape than he is, but I handle my stress better. And I know how to handle. I think and mindset. I just think, like you said, I agree with your thing. Mindset. And I want to ask you a question that because this happens for a lot of us, people of color, and growing up. So, what is your family's background? Like you said, Wayne, are you? I know you're American, but Ivan Hernandez, are you guys from the islands? Are you from?
I'm Latino. My parents are from Puerto Rico.
Oh, same. Okay, same here. Okay, so we're fellow Boricuas. Very good. I love it. My family's from Ponce, so you think they're a little uppity, but it's fine. We love them. But no, so I mean, 'cause so I'm saying in some cultures you don't really talk about stuff. You're raised to kind of be strong, handle it, right? So I'm wondering for your background, did that kind of lead to how are we trying to break those barriers down too? Aren't we? That just no talk about it.
There's stigmas. You mentioned it earlier. There's a stigma, certainly within the Latino culture, where men need to exhibit machismo, where we don't show our weaknesses and vulnerabilities. But our physiology is no different than it was hundreds of thousands of years ago. The stress response is there. It's we're equipped with it to survive. Modern society, our bodies haven't changed in thousands of years. We haven't had a significant upgrade to our blueprint, to our physiology, our DNA. We've made some traces of adaptive evolution, but we haven't had any significant upgrades. But what has changed significantly is the world around us. Modern society is just so much faster. There's so much more technology. We're sitting more than ever. We're exposed to pollutants. We're always on the go. We're meeting deadlines. We have to go to family obligations. work obligations, social obligations, and so naturally it's going to come with stress. And so the stress response is continually activated. And it really is a function of understanding the way we were designed and what this response was is designed for.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to elevate our consciousness, our awareness of when we are stressed so that we can deal with it. And, I've become more a proponent of not just dealing with stress when you encounter it, but even beforehand. I like to take daily deep breaths. Even, sometimes people are looking at me. I have my son sometimes looking at me and saying, "What are you doing?" And I'm just taking my daily deep breaths.
Right.
Whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's a nice hot bath, you need to engage in down regulation activities. And I've relinquished that stigma that men can't be stressed or Latino men, can't express their vulnerabilities or whatever culture you come from. We have the same physiologies, and so we're all at risk and predisposed to a number of stress-related illnesses. And my ultimate goal is I want to live a long, happy life and be there for my children and be the best father that I can. And what I've realized is that if you don't put your oxygen mask first, there's no one else that you're going to be able to help. And so, I need to take care of myself in order to be the best father, to be the best employer, to be the best client, to be the best version that I can be in all the facets of my life.
I like that. I like that analogy that you just used about like the airline. You don't put on your oxygen mask first, you can't help anybody else. That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. And here's the thing. I mean, in this age of you wake up, roll over, go on your phone, what you're saying is so important. It's like before you do that, before you start the phone stuff and looking at Facebook and Twitter and your emails, take those breaths. Because about 10 years ago, I stepped out of my bed wrong. I used to my alarm would go off. I'd jump out of bed because I had to get up I worked at Morgan Stanley. I had to work super early, so I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning, whatever. And I hated it. So either way, I was just like, okay, the alarm goes off, jump out of bed, run in the shower, and get ready. Well, one day I did that before I had to go on a flight cross country, and I think, oh, my back hurts. That was one of the worst flights of that 5-hour flight was one of the worst flights of my entire life going to New York. And I got off the plane, went to the doctor, hospital there, went to the doctor and found that I had rotated my disc out. And he was like, so what is your morning routine? I mean, I told him, he's like, oh, we got to be careful. You got to make sure you take your time getting out of bed. I never thought that my entire life. Having to take my time to get out of bed. It was like, and he's like, well, you are a little older, because you know what's going on too. But it's like, but for anybody, you take it, instead of just jumping out of bed, your body's not rigged. You're in rest mode. Your body's not. At least be a nurse, I should know this. You're in rest mode, and you should know better. And so when I stepped out, I just from stepping wrong, the way I turned, the disc rotated out. So I had basically 7 months of physical therapy to put them back in, so to speak, and deal with this because I jumped out of. I took the time just to lay in bed for a few minutes. So like I do now, slowly wake up, and now I got out of bed.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I'm working on a project now and I'm addressing that. But that back pain and arthritis of many kinds have become a very common malady and a very prevalent chronic illness for many. And a lot of it has to do with, again, modern society. We were designed to walk most of the day. We were designed to periodically run, carry, lift, hinge, do things like that, which is why when we exercise, we should try to mimic those things. But, modern society now, at least in America, I've read stats where the average sitting time is as high as 15 hours a day.
Wow.
So not only does it affect you metabolically, it increases your blood sugar levels and affects your insulin sensitivity and a host of other things. What do they say now? Sitting is the new smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Equivalent of a pack and a quarter.
Wow.
But not only does it affect you metabolically, but it affects you musculoskeletally too. Because when you're sitting, we're in a flexion biased position. So we're bent at the hips, we're bent at the spine, and it's just a matter of time where the tissues that hold our disc start to break down. And when this dam starts to have a defect in it, what happens? The water gets out. Well, in our spine, that water is our disc. It's the nucleus pulposus. It's that jelly-like substance that separates our vertebral bodies. So that being said, what do we do about it?
Mm-hmm.
We need to not sit as much, and that's what I mention a lot. We need to be working at least, and I'm not saying aiming, but at least 5,000 steps per day. Because anything less than that qualifies as being sedentary. So with your smartphone or with your, with the health app on your smartphone or with the pedometer, you got to be walking. You need to be standing. If you have a standing desk, that's ideal. Do you have to stand all day long? No, but I would periodically mix it up because, again, that's one of the ills of modern society, that we sit a lot. And so it's affecting us in a number of ways. Even it's been found to affect our mental sharpness when we're sitting down versus standing. We're sharper when we're standing. So, but from with reference to what you were saying, it stresses our disc. It stresses because we end up sitting on our ligaments. No pun intended, but we end up putting stress to our ligaments, and it's just a matter of time where we reach the threshold of that connective tissue and they start breaking down. And so we do something as harmless as tying our shoes or getting out of bed, and your disc goes out, and it's like, was it you just getting out of bed, or was it you just tying your shoes that was the culprit, or was it the cumulative effect of a lifestyle of sitting and not engaging in extension programs, of not exercising and doing strength and conditioning to protect your spine? And I would certainly argue the latter for most people.
Well, I believe it. I totally believe it. I mean, the thing is, I said I was working I walked a little bit, but not enough at that time period. I mean, I was working at, like I said, Morgan Stanley, a brokerage firm. We were sitting down a lot, and I was a switchboard operator. I was kind of sitting down for 8 hours a day. It was kind of hard. Now, I've learned recently. I had friends who work corporate jobs where they walk during their lunch. They walk, take a couple of breaks. So it's like just a little, like you said, it doesn't even matter. Just do something, like just kind of break it up your day and walk. And I was like, that's a good idea. It's a good idea. Especially in cities where the weather's fine. Like here in LA, the weather's always great, so you can do it here. But I like that idea.
I definitely appreciate a strong work ethic, but what I've realized when I talk about it is that our ultimate wealth is our health. It is of no value to accumulate wealth, financial wealth, and then be on our deathbed soon after.
That's true.
A lot of men, we're kind of programmed to do that, to be the breadwinners, to work hard, and what we end up doing is not only sometimes neglecting our families, but we squander our own health for financial freedom. And then once that's attained, it's sometimes we're at the point of no return where we develop some disease that's intractable. That's something that we can't necessarily reverse. And life and have positive relationships and make, positive experiences. So that's why I'm a big proponent of health, because I think that regardless of what you do, regardless of your field, your profession, health is the common denominator in every human being. We need to be healthy. If you want to get better at what you do, whether you're an architect, an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, if you want to be better at what you do, improve your health first. It really is a common denominator in every human being if we're striving to be our best.
I like that, and that we'll kind of end this on that. That's a great note to end the show on. It's such what you're doing is really helpful stuff out there for people who are just living their day-to-day lives and wondering why they feel certain ways they feel physically, wondering why they can't walk as far, they're out of breath, or and sometimes they're in good health, seemingly good health also. It's like to look internally. I like your holistic approach to things. Like, let's look internally and see what's going on that will help you externally. And I think it's that is the courage to continue. The courage actually is to look within yourself and and see what's going on. That's where the courage kind of begins, so that you can actually start to change things outwardly.
Yes.
And that does, and you did that. You went through your own stuff and said, okay, wait a minute, let me stop. Let me figure this all out. And you did, and now you have a book, Courage to Continue, that's going to sharing that with the public. So now you can affect change to the world. So I totally appreciate that, Dr. Hernandez. That's great. And I know you. I didn't realize you were a fellow Puerto Rican, so that's kind of great. I like that too. That's good. We're out there doing stuff. And you're on the Live Longer book tour. So so just briefly, how's the tour been for you?
The tour's been great. Wow, we've done. It started just before the summer, and we've done about 13 cities. The first leg of the tour ended sometime early in August, but then we have more coming up in the fall. So, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be the keynote speaker at Chicago's inaugural South Suburban Black Tie event. It's a gala that I'm going to be speaking, and the health and wellness professionals. So I'm excited about that.
Wow.
Doing a couple of other events, Women Empowerment, and my sister's Keeper in Atlanta in October, and just a couple other things coming up. So a couple of local events as well. So, the book tour is still alive. It's still going. I'm still spreading my message. And, it is holistic, but it's almost, there's nothing wrong with that word. I think it works, but I think that when you say holistic, it implies that the antithesis of being holistic is to take medicine. And that has, especially in the Western world, that has become our default, where we don't deal with it until we encounter a problem. And then we take our blood pressure medicine and our cholesterol medicine. Being integrative is really a function of utilizing the resources that are available internally and externally. So it is holistic, but it doesn't mean that. The only reason why I'm saying this is because when some people think of holistic, they tend to think of it as being taboo. But it's not. It's just optimizing our environment inside and outside. We've become a country, in large part, and it's sad to say, where instead of preventing illness, and instead of having a healthcare system, we have a disease care system, where we go to the doctor only when we have something, but we're not going to the doctor when we're not optimally well. And, using an integrative or holistic approach really is the way to prevent things. We need to spend more time, more money, and place more value on prevention. And that's why in my book, Courage to Continue, I talk about the things within our grasp that we could manipulate so that people won't get to the point where I got to, where I nearly perished. And
Yeah.
my boys, you know.
Well, I mean, like I said, for me, I use the word because, and I see what you're saying, but I use the word because that's something positive. Because I'm thinking, for me, people don't want to talk about. You're right. In America, they don't want to talk about other approaches than just medicine. But what you're saying is there's an approach to use both, at the same time. You know, do what you can outside of medicine, but when you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. So of course, I'm advocating that you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. But but I use it as more of a positive term of just like this is something. I mean, there's something else to think about just besides people, because a lot of people, a lot of times will run and just get drugs and not do anything else and wonder why nothing happens. And I think, but you're right, to integrate both together.
Yeah, no, I am definitely more. I'm not anti-Western. I'm not anti-medicine. But being integrative means that you're taking control over your own health and not simply relying on pills that you get from a pharmacy.
I like that. And basically, like you said, you're being preventative. You're being present for yourself. You're listening to yourself. You're being proactive. You're taking care of, taking control. Well, just kind of being in charge of your own health. Basically, it's like saying take part in your own health, not just sit back and let everybody tell you what to do or just kind of like see what happens.
Exactly. You want to be an active participant.
Yes.
You can't just passively receive and not be aware of what you're putting in your body and how it's affecting you. You need to be an active participant. Ultimately, it's our lives. We're given one body, and if you want to give it a broader perspective, it really is. It's your life. It's your body. Unfortunately, chronic illness is on the rise. All cause mortality has been on the rise. Obesity, diabetes, hypertension, elevated cholesterol, all these things have been on the rise, and these are all preventable. So we really have to understand that, our bodies are vessels that can be navigated by the determination of our minds. And if we're willing to put forth some energy, the same energy that we put in other things, we could really make the most out of our singular lives and bolster our relationships. And what's the ultimate? Ultimately, what do we want? Love, happiness, health, and wealth. I think if you ask most people, those four are on their list, and so being healthy allows you to get those other three.
Last question, Dr. Hernandez. How are you doing these days?
I'm doing great. I've really come to terms with my past. I've realized that it's almost I see the word. It's funny because when people ask me that question, it's like it was a divorce and having a heart attack.
Yes,
it's been like a rite of passage because it really made me grow up. And not that I was childlike before, but it made me get a better appreciation of life, and it made me really focus on the now. Prior to that, a lot of my stress was the result of thinking about the past and present and neglecting the now. And it really made me appreciate my relationships and just living day to day and really immersing myself in the things that I'm doing. That's really what I came out of it. And life has ups and downs. It's the vicissitudes of life. In fact, that's all. And when we are down, we can't allow that to keep us down. I mention this quite often that we should never let a crisis go to waste. And in my situation, I didn't let my crisis go to waste. Yeah, I was sued. My ex-wife had made some transgressions, but I used that to bolster myself, and I came out of it bigger and better than before. And not only did I help myself, but I used that as a launching board to help other people well beyond the walls of my office, but throughout the world. My goal is to help people globally by improving their health, by educating them, by motivating them and inspiring them to be their best.
That's why I was like, I'm not gonna ask him if he's happy. That's why I ask him if he's doing okay. Like, is he doing okay these days? And it sounds like you're doing much better. Tell people.
No, I'm good. I'm in a good place.
In a good place. Very good. I like that.
I'm in a good place.
Tell people out there where, if they want to talk to you or find you on social media or online, can you tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, I could be found at Dr. Ivan PT on most social media platforms. It's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So it's dr.ivanpt.
That's right. He is on there.
And I'm pretty active, and I try my best to respond. And if I don't respond right away, just give me a couple of days.
Yes, he's a busy man. He does a lot of stuff. But I follow him on social media, guys. He is on there, and he has some great stuff, and he gives tips and things. And you can follow what he's doing in his speaking engagements. And this interview will be linked to him, too, on all those platforms, too. Dr. Hernandez, thank you very much for your time. And, it was an honor to have you on my show.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you.
And you take care, and we will talk soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Ivan Hernandez, he's out of back east, and he is just doing amazing work. The book's called Courage to Continue. I said, one of the reasons why I admire him is because he is trying to show people to take control of their lives, and when it comes to their health, and that's something we all have to do, not just sit around and let things happen to us. And a lot of things that happen, we can see it happening coming if you really look. And like I said, listen to your body. People say, "What do you mean listen to your body?" Your body does tell you things. And if you really are quiet and are paying attention, that 1 acre pain could tell you kind of what's going on. Also, exercise, sleep. I tell you, I love sleep. I'm all about sleep. Just get that sleep in there. And if you have issues, get help. I'm a certified life coach, as you know, but if you didn't know. But also, you can, if you need a therapist or just anybody, or a pastor or a friend or a cousin or somebody, if you need to talk to somebody, if you have some issues, talk to them. If you're stressed out, sometimes calling your girlfriends and saying, girl, I'm stressed out. Can we just hang out tonight? Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. That's kind of, I think, the overall message that Dr. Hernandez is, and I completely firmly believe. Just be good to yourself. And so you can live as long as you can. And because I was all around for a long time, and some of us have had health scares that we're lucky to survive them, and there are others who are not so lucky. Extra Connections is always looking for guests to come on the show. I always have my own roster, but if you have something to say, a point of view, you have something you're promoting, you can contact us. We are on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Extra and Community Connections. That's the page. We're on YouTube under JLJ Media. We are on iTunes and Spreaker.com under Community and Extra Connections. All of our episodes are there. You can contact me at those locations, or you can contact me at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Contact me, and I would love to help you connect with others. If you have a really positive, strong message you want to get out there. This show is every Wednesday, and you get new episodes every Wednesday, and I try to bring you the best people, and I just love doing the show so much. Shout out to my girl, Rena Garcia, who we're in talks about the parent show, which is Community Connections, but I'm going to continue doing Extra Connections. It's so much fun to do this show, and I wish everyone good health. I wish everybody a good time, good health this week. And if you get this episode, comment. Tell me what you think. Give us your comments. If you're doing something that's really interesting, that's helping you with your health, let me know, and I'll share it on the show. Just kind of let people know what people out there are doing. Again, I like to connect people. That's why it's called Extra Connections. I'm James Lott Jr., and I will talk to you next time.